Hey guys, I'm Jade.
And I'm Amal. We're female entrepreneurs and body transformation experts.
We're really excited to be back on Stylerunner Health Club today because we're going to be covering a topic that we get asked a lot at Ecolution, and that is healthy swaps. So little things that you can do in your diet just to better your overall nutrition and of course your overall health.
So these swaps that we're providing today aren't drastic changes. They're just small changes that you can apply to your diet that can reduce your calorie intake, which can result in a healthier lifestyle.
So the best way to describe food and the options you have is think about it in the context of clothing. So you've got your designer clothing, which I guess is more expensive and more costly and taxing. And then you've got your cheaper alternatives. So things that you get more bang for your buck with. So try and think about food in that context. So there's food that's more expensive and taxing on your calorie budget, and there's foods that are a little bit cheaper. So without further ado, we're going to get into our healthy swaps. And Amal, let's start with fat-free dairy.
Okay, so you usually opt for the normal cheddar cheese, the normal mozzarella, the full fat milk, and anything that doesn't contain the word fat free. And what we advise is opting for the lower fat option when it comes to dairy.
Don't get me wrong, full fat dairy is like absolutely delicious. I'm huge. I'm a dairy fan.
No,
yes.
Can I be honest though? I feel like it tastes the same. I feel like fat free and like skim or like non-fat
Cheese
tastes
lovers,
the same.
you're listening to this and you're like, no.
Okay, really?
But in the grand scheme of things, it is a really good way because dairy is quite high in fat. So fat has 9 calories per gram as opposed to protein and carbs, which has 4 calories per gram. So fatty foods are generally higher in calories anyway. So when you do make those low fat alternative choices when it comes to your, fatty foods, you're saving quite a bit.
You are.
A really good example, I think, is milk. So for example, in your coffees, your morning coffee. So a full fat small coffee is about 100 calories, whereas a small skim coffee is 60. So it's quite a bit of a saving.
And be mindful. So when we say swap out your full fat milks for another milk alternative, we suggest low fat milk if you don't have a dairy tolerance. Sometimes your milk alternatives like coconut milk, macadamia milk, and sometimes even almond milk can be higher in calories. So just be mindful of that.
And also a little hot tip as well. So a lot of people really struggle getting an adequate amount of protein for your particular body weight. So for females, I'd say around the rough range that we recommend is around the 100 to 130 gram mark a day, which is very dependent upon your body weight, your lifestyle. There's a number of factors that we consider. But when you're selecting coffee, a skim coffee can contain 6 grams of protein. So it's higher than an almond coffee, which is why it's often of preference to a lot of people that are counting their macronutrients.
Yeah.
And even on that note as well, when you're selecting a low fat alternative, chances are in the context of dairy, it's going to be higher in protein, which means you're getting fuller for longer as well.
Exactly.
So it's a really good little like low calorie snack. Things like fat-free Greek yogurt, cheeses and things like that are good additions where you can get a bit of a protein hit and you're saving on those calories as well.
Exactly. So our recommendations for low fat products are: 1, YoPro yogurts. They're awesome.
Even with cheeses, we really like using the Bega 50% less fat shredded cheese. That's quite different in calories to a lot of your full fat cheeses. And then of course milks as well. So from full cream to skim milk, that often can save you a lot of calories. And one thing that's really sad, there is no low fat chocolate. So chocolate, guys, is just, it's the ultimate sacrifice.
I know.
But 80% whole food, 20% salt.
There is low fat ice cream though. So our recommendation is Peter's no sugar added and also the Skinny Cow ice cream. So they're awesome.
Even things like a lot of the protein ice creams, they'll be lower in fat and higher in protein. So things like your Halo Tops and FroPro and things like that.
Next one is sugar-free drinks.
So a lot of people clock up their daily calories unbeknown to them just through having that extra sugary soft drink. Beverages, guys, are such a waste of calories. If you're spending 200 calories on a can of Coke, A, it's a nutritionally poor choice, and B, it's so taxing on your calorie budget. It's just totally not worth it.
I agree.
So I can completely understand. I'm quite a Diet Coke fan myself.
Me too.
I like the odd Diet Coke. So if you don't want to forego your sugary beverage like a soft drink, for example, just opt for the sugar-free version. I personally can't tell the difference.
No, I can't either. And I usually go for like the sugar-free cream sodas, the sugar-free solos, everything sugar-free you can find in my fridge. It has the same taste and you're just saving calories.
And a little bit later, we'll get to how these can be used to save calories on your alcohol choice too.
Yeah, exactly.
So the next one is lean meats. So I think this is a really, really important one because I know there's a lot of red meat lovers. And if you're opting for a leaner cut meat, you can be saving a huge amount on your calories. So for example, a lean rump steak is about 130 calories per 100 grams, as opposed to some, sirloins and fattier cut meats, which can
like
be
ribeyes and
which can be upwards of like 220 calories per 100 grams.
And you usually would have something between like 150 grams to 250 grams per steak. So think about how many calories that could be just for one piece of steak.
Do you like fatty steak? Like, can you tell the difference?
Can I be honest? I prefer leaner steaks, like rump and eye fillet, over the fattier steaks. I don't like the chewiness of the fat, and I think like a leaner meat. It holds the flavor as well. Like, it's a really nice flavor. Honestly, the lean meat just tastes so good because you can taste the meat. It's not like a fat taste, it's like a meat taste.
Same with mince as well. I always catch my mum out on this. She'll be like, oh, this is really healthy. It's just mince and something else. I'm like, but what mince?
What mince?
What mince is that?
It's a huge difference. I know
They'll
that.
trick you. Your parents will trick you.
Even like
just meat.
Even like with the star difference, like a 5-star 95% lean beef mince is about 130 calories per 100 grams. But then as soon as you go to like 4-star, it goes up to like 170 calories per 100 grams. And again, you're not only going to have 100 grams of mince, you're probably going to have between the 150 to 200 gram mark. So that's an extra 100 calories that you're saving.
Yeah, definitely. And even things like switching from salmon to white fish.
Yeah,
like,
that's a big one.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. Salmon is really nutritionally dense. Like, it's got a lot of omega-3s and just really like the good stuff,
health
right?
benefits.
Yeah, a lot of health benefits. But in saying that too, it is quite taxing when it comes to calories as well. So unless you're moderating and sort of understanding what you're having for the rest of your day, something like even a simple, salmon and sweet potato and veg dish can be quite high in calories, especially then if you're cooking with oil, which we'll get to later as well. But yeah, so just even making that switch to white fish, that will save you a lot of calories. So generally speaking, white fish is about 90 calories per 100 grams. So that's quite low.
Yeah. Again, like what Jade said, it doesn't mean that you can't have these foods. So if you are a salmon lover, you can still have salmon. But if you're finding that you're struggling to lose weight, struggling to drop centimeters, it could be because of your food choices. Just because it's titled as healthy, it doesn't mean that it's the best, bang for your buck. So the best calorie option.
The best thing to do when you're sort of trying to weigh up, but it's good for me, but then it's high in calories, is just to really understand your diet in the context of the whole day.
Agreed.
So fat loss is calories in versus calories out. And it's really important that you're giving your body the nutrients that it needs, which is why we recommend 80% whole foods. So that's 80%, wholesome, nutritious foods, lean meats, veggies, things like that. But then also 20% soul food. So things that you love. And if you're understanding your in versus out and also looking at your whole diet in the context of balance and moderation, you will really strike a really good balance.
Yeah, I agree. So next one is coffee. I know we touched on it like at the beginning of this video, but I think it's just important to emphasize like the calories that coffee contains.
And liquid calories, just in general.
Yeah.
I remember when I first started flexible dieting, so first started counting my calories and macros, I found it really interesting thinking about my diet from when I was younger and was gaining weight and where I was going wrong, and it was making so much sense. One thing that made sense was my chai latte, my soy chai latte. Oh my God,
soy and then chai latte put together is just
I was blown away. You can literally have a sandwich for the calories that you can get in a chai latte. And that doesn't even hit the sides. So it's like, it really makes sense how, especially if you're an office worker and you're going down and hitting the coffee shop a couple of times a day, how you can clock up those extra calories just in coffee alone. It blew my mind when I first became educated on nutrition. I just thought, oh my God, I was wasting so many calories.
So obviously black coffee contains no calories. So that is the best go-to if you want to save calories and not spend it on any beverages. Second to that are your Almond and Skim coffees. When we say coffees, we mean nothing like a mocha. It's just a Skim cup or a Skim latte.
Mocha, also a little bit of anxiety there as well.
Oh, see, I'm all for them. I'm a mocha drinker, but I save my calories because that's my treat for the day.
Okay, let's put it like this. You've got money in the bank, right? And that's your calorie budget. If you want to say go and buy a Gucci handbag, for instance.
My mocha is my Gucci handbag.
Your mocha is a Gucci handbag. If you want to go and buy a Gucci handbag, that's absolutely fine. But you can't potentially then go and buy Chanel loafers and a Hermes bracelet and then another Gucci belt. You will have to moderate your rest, the rest of your day or weekly spend or something to cater for your Gucci handbag. So calories and your nutrition works very much the same.
So to put it into perspective, the Skim coffees and the almond coffees are usually around the 70 calorie mark, but then when you opt for like a Skim mocha, that is over 100 calories. So you just need to choose wisely. If you want to have a Skim mocha, cool. I choose to spend my calories on that, but if you want to save calories, then opt for a black coffee or just a simple Skim coffee or an almond coffee.
That's Amal's Gucci handbag.
That's my Gucci handbag, guys.
So speaking of beverages, we're going to move into alcohol now, which
this is probably the biggest one.
This is the biggest blunder for a lot of people. So to be totally honest with you, when I was younger, and Amal and I come from a fitness model background, so we were pretty rigid with our diet.
Yeah.
We never really drank. I think we went years and years without drinking. And it was sort of like when we, I guess, stopped competing and we were a little bit more balanced with our lifestyle.
Started making some more friends.
Yeah, and went out socially and things like that. We started incorporating alcohol. And Amal and I are very aware of our in versus out and calories and macronutrients.
Can I just say one thing, guys? Every alcoholic beverage, no matter if it's vodka soda, still contains calories. It blows my mind the amount of people that say to me, I can have vodka soda because it's no calories. No, vodka itself contains calories.
And it was a real sacrifice when we first started socializing and incorporating alcohol, because we weren't used to sacrificing so much food for alcohol. But it really is one of those things that, unfortunately, especially as you're getting older, if you take your eyes off the prize and you sort of let go a little bit with your diet and then you're incorporating more social events, more alcohol, it can really, really clock up. So I think the biggest blunder for a lot of females is cocktails.
Look, they're tasty, but are they worth the calories? I guess it comes down to what you guys
What's your Gucci handbag?
What's your Gucci handbag? Is it a spicy margarita? Because some days that's my Gucci handbag, but you've just got to understand that in order to make that fit on a fat loss journey, you need to sacrifice during the day.
See, for me, it is not my Gucci handbag.
Definitely
I would probably drink just a vodka shot to make sure it's not my Gucci handbag, because I just generally don't enjoy alcohol, but I can completely understand how it's some people's vice and go-to. So for example, if you think about wine, so wine is 125 calories per glass, which is relatively affordable when you're thinking of calories as money in the bank. However, if you're having sort of 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 wines.
Who has 9 wines?
I don't know. Some people do. You're either going to be like A on the floor, or B, you're going to really, really tap into your calories there. So you do have to modify what you're eating during the day to cater for alcoholic beverages. But one thing that you can do to help yourself out is make smart switches. So you can change that, glass of wine for 2 vodka sodas, for example.
Or vodka sugar-free sodas, because again, those sugar-free sodas contain very minimal calories, maybe like 3 per can. So you're still just having a vodka shot with a bit of flavor.
Vodka Diet Coke is my go-to.
Vodka sugar-free cream
and it makes
soda
a lot
is
of
my
people
go-to.
like choke.
Yeah,
it's my go-to.
And then to put in perspective, when it comes to cocktails, one cocktail can be from 250 calories onwards. So a pina colada is nearly 600 calories.
Yeah, it's 546.
Imagine being on a 1600 calorie meal plan, which is what like majority of girls are on, and having 1 pina colada. That is like nearly half your intake for the day from 1 drink.
Yeah, and even highly active females, like you can burn anywhere from, up from 2,000 calories a day, depending on your height and weight and whatnot, to 3,000 calories a day. And even so, when you think about the calories in alcoholic beverages, it doesn't really give you room to move. So you do have to modify your diet on days that you are incorporating alcohol, just to ensure that you're not sort of like blowing your budget, I guess you could say. But in the interim, you can make smart switches. So things like any spirits added with a diet soda is a really good alternative. But even wine, I mean, if you're portion controlling and you're not having sort of half a dozen and you're just having a couple glasses of wine, I guess that's your 20% soul food for the day. So it's definitely able to be incorporated if you're just mindful for the whole day. But of course, you can get more bang for your buck when it comes to spirits and stuff.
Champagne champagne as well.
Oh,
Champagne's
is
under 100 calories
100
per
calories,
flute,
yeah.
which is awesome. So if you want to celebrate with champagne, that's a good go-to.
Champagne goes straight to my head though.
I don't love champagne.
Don't love champagne at all.
I think we're just vodka girls.
I think we are. So when you understand calories to the extent that we do, you can do all sorts of great things like watch your waistline, and you can also trim back when you want to, you know, sort of get more in shape and whatnot. But then you also see numbers on top of absolutely everything. So yeah, blessing and curse.
But the great thing is, right, you get to still enjoy life, and you just know, okay, if I'm going to go out for drinks with my friends, I'm just going to have a vodka instead, because I'm being mindful of my calories and I'm on a fat loss journey. So guys, like, I feel like we're not telling you to give up everything that you love. We're just giving you a better alternative.
And it sort of boils down to understanding nutrition a little bit better as well. So once you remove the mindset of looking at food as good or bad, and you instead just understand how the body recognizes it as, you know, overall calories, protein, fats and carbs, it takes a huge weight off your shoulders. You know, Amal and I come from a really restrictive dieting background where food was quite simply a yes or a no to us. We had a really, really small amount of food that we considered to be okay for our diet. That being said, it was things like, you know, white fish, egg whites, oats, sweet potato. That was literally about it. But then once we sort of became educated on nutrition and whatnot, it does open you up to being able to have a lot more balance. But of course, making things like smart switches and keeping mindful and having portion control and sacrificing and things like that is sort of part of the compromise, but definitely a worthwhile one.
I agree. Okay, next one. Oh my gosh, this is like my favorite one, because so many people don't realize how many calories oil contains. Like, I have watched people just pour oil when they're cooking, and I'm thinking, you have no idea how many calories you're adding to this.
Cooking with oil can be the difference between in 1 week losing weight and gaining weight, quite literally.
Or even adding oil to your salads. Like, it's mind-blowing. It's so crazy. Okay, perspective. 2 tablespoons of olive oil is equivalent to a chocolate bar.
So 1 tablespoon of olive oil is about 120 calories. And a tablespoon is not really that much. So if you're throwing a few in each meal, you're adding a few hundred calories.
You're adding in a few chocolate bars every day, guys.
So if you're ever eating super well and you're like, where could I be going wrong? Or if you're counting calories and you're thinking, where could I be going wrong?
And you're not counting the oil?
And you're not counting the oil, chances are it's likely to be the oil. So we often suggest to our clients to opt for no calorie cooking alternative, things like non-stick pans, the latest and greatest, air fryers.
Guys, I cook something in my air fryer every single day. You can cook anything. I make homemade fries, I make chicken wings, I make everything. You name it, everything.
Like fish and veggies and
you can make a cake in there. Did you know that?
No.
Yeah, you can.
I want to get my hands on a Thermomix.
Do you have an air fryer?
Yeah, Zara's got
one. Oh, because I took it when I moved down.
Yeah. Oh, we didn't divorce, guys. We
just decided to live separately. But yeah, honestly, air fryer.
Yeah, Mom used to cook everything in the air fryer. Very handy.
I don't know why restaurants haven't started using air fryers. It blows my mind. I feel like as soon as someone brings out like a crispy chicken burger air fried, I'm in.
Game changer.
Game changer.
It does. It saves a whole lot of calories. So if you think about cooking with a tablespoon of oil, removing that and then air frying or dry grilling or just on a non-stick pan, you're saving yourself 120 calories, which is the equivalent of 1 skinny cow. So that concludes our smart swap suggestions. We hope you guys loved them. And if you would like to head to the Evolution Instagram, you can see more of our smart swaps and switches. We do it with all sorts. We do it with like hamburgers, burrito bowls, smoothies, things like that. Just little changes that you can make in your diet to better your overall health and of course reduce your calorie intake.
And again, these aren't drastic life-changing things that you need to add to your day, but it's just small changes. Baby steps that where you can still enjoy the food that you love and work on shrinking that waistline.
Thank you for tuning in to Stylerunner Health Clubs, and we look forward to seeing you on our next feature.
Bye guys.